1. Setting the stage. The world before 1918, was vastly different, marked by World War I's devastation. Countries were focused on war, with troop movements across continents creating an environment ripe for the spread of infectious diseases. 2. The first wave. Spring awakens a silent threat in March 1918. The first wave of Spanish flu emerged in military camps in the United States. Soldiers experienced mild flu-like symptoms, leading to initial neglect as war efforts took precedence. 3. Mass movements. The perfect storm for a pandemic troop deployments facilitated the rapid spread of the virus across the Atlantic to Europe. Soldiers returning home carried the flu, spreading it globally. 4. Second wave strikes. The deadly mutation by August 1918, a more virulent strain emerged, coinciding with the movement of troops and their families. This second wave was far deadlier, leading to high mortality rates. 5. Symptoms and suffering. Humanity's despair. The Spanish flu symptoms were brutal. High fever, severe aches, and turning victims blue due to lack of oxygen. Medical facilities were overwhelmed, and society struggled to cope with the caregiving demands. 6. Global reach. No corner of the earth untouched, from remote Pacific islands to bustling cities in Europe. The Spanish flu reached every corner of the globe, causing millions of deaths. 7. The role of media. Silence and stories media played a controversial role, with wartime censorship initially silencing reports of the flu. Only neutral Spain freely reported on the outbreak, hence the name Spanish flu. 8. Social impact. Daily life turned on its head, public gatherings were canceled, and schools were closed. People wore masks, and social interactions were strained as fear and distrust spread among communities. 9. Medical response. Trials and tribulations with no vaccines or antibiotics. Medical practitioners were left with few options, using quarantine and public health measures to control the outbreak. 10. The role of quarantine. Isolation as a savior and punishment. Quarantine became a double-edged sword, curbing the spread in some areas while isolating communities and individuals, leading to economic and social distress. 11. Family tragedies. Stories of grief and loss. Personal stories revealed the scale of familial loss, with entire households succumbing to the flu, leaving scars for generations. 12. The war's influence. Battlefield and barriers. War conditions exacerbated the pandemic spread, with tight quarters and poor sanitation in trenches acting as breeding grounds for the virus. 13. The unsung heroes. Nurses and volunteers braved the pandemic, providing care to the sick and dying, often risking their own lives. 14. Economic consequences. A world in financial turmoil, the pandemic disrupted economies, with labor shortages, reduced productivity, and halted industrial growth, adding pressure on war-torn global finances. 15. Political responses. Leadership in crisis governments worldwide faced criticism for their handling of the flu, with some opting for transparency and others opting for concealment in fear of panic or political backlash. 16. Science and research. Birth of epidemiology. The pandemic sparked advancements in virology and epidemiology, as the scientific community sought answers to the mysterious flu, laying groundwork for future disease control strategies. 17. Community solidarity. Neighbor helping neighbor amidst the chaos. Many communities banded together to support each other, showcasing humanity's resilience in face of disaster. 18. Spiritual and cultural views. Searching for meaning, different cultures and religions interpreted the pandemic through various lenses, seeking solace in spirituality and tradition. 19. Art and literature. Expression through suffering. The pandemic influenced artists and writers, who captured the era's suffering and resilience in their works. 20. Education interrupted. The impact on learning. Schools closed, forcing educators to adapt and innovate, which led to explorations of remote teaching methods. 21. Adaptations and innovations. Rethinking healthcare systems reevaluated their structures, leading to improved public health policies and infrastructure. 22. Rural versus urban. Different challenges. Same enemy. Rural and urban areas face distinct challenges, from lack of medical access in rural communities to overcrowded conditions in cities. 23. The young and the old. Vulnerability across ages. Unlike typical flu viruses, the Spanish flu was devastatingly lethal to young, healthy adults, bewildering scientists, and exacerbating societal impact. 24. Vaccine development. Racing against time, efforts to develop vaccines during the pandemic laid the foundation for modern immunology and future flu treatments. 25. The human cost. Remembering the fallen cemeteries filled rapidly, and the memories of those lost endured in family stories and public memorials. 26. The end of the pandemic. Fading into history by the end of 1920, the Spanish flu had largely dissipated, but questions about future preparedness and lessons learned remain. 27. Lessons for the future. Preparing for the next pandemic, the Spanish flu provided lasting lessons on global preparedness, many of which were revisited during later outbreaks, such as the 2009 H1N1 and COVID-19 pandemics. 28. Modern reflections. Echoes in today's world. Comparisons between past and present pandemics highlight ongoing challenges in healthcare, policy, and societal reactions. 29. Technological advancements. Tools against future outbreaks. Technological innovations, from genomic sequencing to telemedicine, trace their origins to the challenges faced during the 1918 pandemic. 30. The legacy of the Spanish flu. A changed world. The pandemic persistence in public memory serves as a cautionary tale, influencing modern health policies and historical understanding. 31. The forgotten pandemic. Reclaiming history despite its magnitude. The Spanish flu is often overshadowed by World War I, requiring renewed historical inquiry and remembrance. 32. The shared human experience. Unity in crisis across cultures and continents. The shared experiences of the 1918 pandemic remind us of our interconnectedness in times of global crises.